The URL is sabiansymbols.com/the-oracle. And it's Sabian.
What's next?
I'm really liking how dynamic this story is and how it's loaded with possibility in a really fun way. And it made me curious. There's this thing that's similar to like a tarot reading that's called the Sabian Oracle that works with the Sabian symbols. And you get like a little mini reading from it. It was somebody who sat down in an astrologer sat down in the 1920s with a psychic and held up 360 cards, 1 degree, 2 degrees, and she saw an image for each one and he recorded them. So you like focus on a question, trigger it. It's the same thing in tarot. You think about a question and then pick some cards and you get some kind of reading from it. And this is not something I'm into. I do it a few times a year out of curiosity. Sometimes it's not worth much. Sometimes it's really interesting. And so just for a story that's this kind of partially formed with a lot of interesting potential, I thought it would be just curious to see what comes up for it.
Wonderful.
So really, I just want to like focus for a minute on what I'm actually questioning.
And this would be the intention of your story, the protagonist's journey?
It's more like a question. And like, so as I'm focusing, find myself in the position of the android, like I'm being the robot, and kind of like looking at the world that now confronts me, probably the sun, and in my confusion about the contradictory elements, it's almost like, what is this? I'm not sure if I'm vocalizing it right, but almost like, what is this story about? And I'm seeing it from the point of view of this like confused robot.
The site is, what is the URL of the website?
Okay, so here's what it said. A nature spirit dancing in the mist of a waterfall. That's what this psychic, that's the image she saw, a nature spirit dancing in the midst of the waterfall. And then there's like an interpretation. So the image doesn't do a lot for me right away, but I'm curious the paragraph below it, what that says. It says, this symbol shows skipping lightly over the surface of life, dancing and playing. You may feel emotionally light and almost mischievous. The worries of life and the deeper parts of your feelings are ignored as you effortlessly flit over the surface of any troubles. Whilst this is essentially a beautiful symbol of joy, harmony, and a lightness of being, there may be an element of feeling cut off from your body or reality. This can lead to a sense of alienation or difficulty in knowing where to land, or evading problems by ignoring them or rising above them. Effervescent spirits, dancing in a carefree manner, water and fun, Peter Pan attitudes, celebrations of the natural world, waterfalls, mist, nymphs, fairies, subtle energies. Irresponsibility, the avoidance of real situations, not taking anything seriously, escapism, moving or flying around, perceptions of light, fear of dark places, naive. So that's interesting in terms of this robot. And what's interesting about it is we talked about the sun corrupting the operating system of this kind of like super robot, for lack of a better word. And we talked about like seeing Spock like on catnip, where he's like rolling around on the floor laughing, and like this reminds me of that, and it kind of amplifies that aspect of this story in an interesting way. In other words, it's just a what if. It's kind of like the 36 dramatic situations, like I'm looking at ambition and it triggers a lot of possibilities. As I'm looking at this, like the image itself, a nature spirit dancing in the midst of a waterfall, I was like, I don't know what that means. Didn't really like grab me. But the explanation is great. Feeling emotionally light and almost mischievous. That's an interesting word. The worries of life and deeper parts of your feelings are ignored as you effortlessly flit over the surface of any troubles. It's almost like the sun has like gotten him high on crack or something. Like he's like this robot that's usually like, that's not logical, we shouldn't do that. Like really organized, efficient, on top of things, is all of a sudden like, I want to look at the little birdie and can we wrestle? You know, it's like just kind of deliberately like had a wire snipped by the new owner to make it more malleable. And yet it's also plays into, well, it talks about the element, it says, while this is essentially a beautiful symbol of joy, harmony, and a lightness of being, there may be an element of feeling cut off from your body or reality, which is interesting for a robot. Cut off from reality is one thing, cut off from your body is another, but it really is like a personality change. And yet it seems great, like you're happier, you don't care about logic anymore, you know, like Spock wants to play the guitar instead of, you know, do quantum calculations or something. This can lead to a sense of alienation or difficulty in knowing where to land. See, that's the thing of like, I used to be super clear about ethics and how to navigate certain types of things, and now I'm like, it reminds me of what was it? The killer robot movie from years ago, RoboCop. And at one point toward the end of the movie, the RoboCop is trying to go down a set of stairs, but it can't do stairs the way, and it comes up to and it's like toes are like trying to like, how do you do this? Like and it fell down the stairs. But the idea of like difficulty in knowing where to land, like, how do I navigate this terrain? It's foreign to me now that I feel more giddy, or like the robot's going to think this has been a great upgrade in his system, but it's like snipped a wire and made him happier and looser, which is desirable from his point of view because he wants to be human. It's like Data learning how to laugh. And yet it's also like, this is kind of scary. I feel out of sorts. I don't know what's real. Effervescent spirits dancing in carefree manner, water and fun. Remember we kept talking about the beach and being a good surfer? Peter Pan attitudes. It's interesting. It's like the sun could really have sort of gotten him high. You know what I mean? And he's like, this is fun. I can surf. The girls like me. You know, it's like, I ate a hot dog today. You know, it's like, it's tempting. And it's not just tempting, it's gratifying. And it's also discombobulating, if that's the right word, like a lack of judgment. But it's liberating. I mean, that's it. And see how it fits in with the dilemma. Like, I can't let go of this because it's creating me. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I can't keep doing this because I don't trust it. I feel manipulated. Part of me is like screaming that this is all wrong. And the other part of me is like, let's smoke more crack. This is great. You know, so it's like, but I know that smoking the crack is bad, but I'm starving for that human capacity. And then the negative aspect of it is irresponsibility, avoidance of real situations, not taking anything seriously, escapism, naivete. So that was just like a fun venture, but it really suggested a highly specific way that the sun could corrupt the operating system. And it's a reward system. It's it's experiencing some of the joys of being human in a way that's irresistible and yet also, and it's very much wish granting. Here's your wish, you're becoming a real boy, and be careful, you get all your wishes, but things go wrong too in this type of story. But that was an interesting what if.
Did you type in a question?
Nope.
Okay.
I just thought about it.
And
then just hit this button, and then it brings this up.
Wow.
But I was focused. You could see me focus for a minute.
Right.
Like, I'm the robot. I'm like, how do I deal with this? And like, what's this story about of this robot trying to figure out how to deal with this? And that just popped up. And I probably won't even think about this for another 6 months. Like, it's not part of my normal thing at all.